This is Lorenzo, and this is the Training Map Taxonomy video series, lesson number 7. It's on the third dimensional skill, focusing on core development in the anterior chain. This is part 1 of a 3-part core chain series. As you guys recall, on the left in our matrix, we have our dimensional skill, which is all about core development in the anterior chain, or the rectus abdominis, as well as the rectus femoris and hip flexors. On the right of our matrix, we have modality benchmarks. There are 3 performance benchmarks associated with the anterior core chain. We then will ask the question, once we have achieved or if we make meaningful progress towards those benchmarks, what are the long-term adaptations or benefits we can expect from their achievement? As a reminder, we're exploring a total of 30 performance benchmarks in this series. Each of those benchmarks will either be one of mobility, stability, power, or strength, speed, and endurance. As I already mentioned, there are 3 gymnastics-specific performance benchmarks associated with the anterior core chain. The first and the 10th benchmark in the series is the pike fold. It's a benchmark of mobility. That's why it's red. The 11th and the 2nd is the V-sit. It's a benchmark of stability. And the 3rd is a benchmark of strength. And the 12th benchmark in the series is the leg raise. As a quick reminder, all performance measures will be either one of load, did I improve in my weight, one of time, did I improve on my time or the amount of work I did within that time frame, or one of position. Did I improve on my body's position? So the pike fold is a benchmark of position. Either you can get into the position or you can't. So it's binary, yes or no. In my case, it's not quite binary. It's mostly a yes, almost there. Next, for our second benchmark of the anterior core chain and the 11th benchmark in this series, we have the V-sit. This is a benchmark of stability and one of position. Technically, it's also a benchmark of time. Can I get into the position? And once I can, for how long can I hold it? If you're male, you're expected to hold for 15 seconds. And if you're female, 6 seconds. For my rationale behind these numbers, watch my benchmark video in the Training Design Taxonomy video series. As for our third and final benchmark, we have the hanging straight leg raise. This is a benchmark of strength. That's why it's yellow. Also one of position. This is not one of load. There's no weights involved, and it's not one of time. I'm not trying to time myself per se. So either I can get into the position or I can't. And once I can, I may then want to test to see how many repetitions I can do until failure. In this case, you're aiming for at least 6 reps as a male. And as a female, 3. To achieve these 3 fitness goals is to master your compression strength. Now, unlike just working on sit-ups and crunches, which only emphasize a small part or portion of the rectus abdominis, compression strength allows you to strengthen the entire chain from the rectus femoris to the hip flexors, as well as the rectus abdominis in an entire chain, expressing what is known as tensegrity, which means integrity of tension in the entire anterior chain. The minimum mobility, stability, and power requirements to help you achieve these benchmarks and unlock optimal compression strength are hip, knee, or hamstring mobility, pelvoscapular stability, pelvis, scapula, and hip spinal power. Hip flexors raise the legs all the way to or just past 90 degrees, and anterior spinal strength or compression strength closes the remaining gap. As I mentioned before, it's only when we make meaningful progress in mobility and stability and power as prerequisites to achieving the right or meaningful goals that will unlock certain long-term adaptations and benefits that we really care about. For our first benefit, ever had low back pain? Maybe you have weak hip flexors, weak QLs, limited range of motion in the hamstrings, lack of core anterior chain stability may worsen your low back pain. People with exceptional compression strength rarely suffer from any low back pain. So think of working on your hip knee mobility in the anterior core chain as rehab and prehab for your low back. As for our second benefit, adequate hamstring flexibility will translate into more efficient compression forces. In fact, we will not be able to do a straight leg raise without sufficient mobility. As for our third benefit, once we've achieved sufficient range of motion in our hamstrings, we want to ensure that we can develop strength and stability within that new range, as we see here with the lockouts and other stability movements like the L-sit and V-sit. For our fourth benefit, compression strength serves as the foundation for many activities of daily living, such as a good posture and reaching for our toes, which we do multiple times per day. For our fifth benefit, compression strength is literally the foundation for and transfers to many activities, specifically pulling and pressing activities, as we can see here in the plank or push-up. For our sixth benefit, and barring our body fat percentage, but for more complete abdominal development, look no further than compression strength, because not only will we be emphasizing development of the rectus abdominis, but the entire chain, spanning from the rectus femoris to our hip flexors and rectus abdominis. As for our seventh and final benefit, if you are a climber, dancer, or fighter, or an athlete that depends on any degree of compression strength, as these athletes do, then mastering the anterior core chain dimension is a non-negotiable. In conclusion, if any one of these 7 benefits of compression strength appeal to you in one form or another, then look no further than making progress towards your pike fold, V-sit, and leg raise.